Hello, welcome back to my grading tutorial, and today we will focus on 9.0. Okay, so before I move on, let's give you a quick look at the cheat sheet that I have used in all the other videos. Okay, let's move on with the first example. Here we have a beautiful razor sharp square bound book. As you can see, there is absolutely nothing wrong at the spine. Okay, and here is a problem right there. That's a half an inch. Actually, it's slightly bigger than half an inch, but it's close enough that I call it a half an inch corner crease right there. And then, as you can see, the rest of the book is beautiful. There is nothing wrong with this book, and is okay. You know, for square bound book, when you see that kind of wavery on the edge, that's not a big deal. That's part of the production flaw. Is paper and glue dry is not even because it was not applied evenly to the book. But there's no need to really do this part, but I just want to do it anyways, so to show you that the spine, what you see there at the spine, is quite common with most square bound book, because the paper and the glue, when they dry unevenly, it created that kind of ripple. But anyhow, right there is the first example of a 9.0 because of the half-inch corner crease. Okay, everything else is beautiful, but unfortunately, that corner crease is just too big to be anything higher, in my opinion. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one here. This I would consider very light wear at the corner. So you see here, this one corner that have a very light wear. The spine there's one right there. There's a couple of spine, take this two, okay? You can consider this little scuff is a very light scuff, but that's all of this fall under light, very light wear. Okay, so when you have something like this that have, you know, 2 or 3 ticks and a little scuffing there, that's very light, you know, and the corner, that's very light. So how does one apply very light to light, or all these different scales to grading? If this book have a flawless back cover, it can still be a 9.4 easily, okay? Because when you have very light wear at the corners like this and at the spine, where you're talking about 2 or 3 or 4 little spine ticks, that all fall within the realm of a 9.4 book. Okay, not a problem at all. But what's gonna keep this book at a 9.0, in my opinion, is a 1/4 inch tear, as you can see right there. Okay, it's about 1/4 inch. I measure it. So when you have a tear like that, and using my scale that I have, then, you know, as you can see, if the rest of the book was pretty sharp, this book probably can still get a 9.2. But because the very light wears that we see at the corners as well as on the spine here, I'm comfortable giving it a 9.0. Can CGC give it something higher? Absolutely. But I don't imagine and cannot imagine CGC give this thing an 8.5. Okay, so just like this book right here, I consider both of these strong, solid 9.0. And as I mentioned before in other videos, not every book in the same grade is equal. Okay, you have a weak 9.0, you can have a solid 9.0, and then you can have a strong 9.0. Okay, let's go on to the next example. Let's take a look at this book. Very good looking corner, edge. Let's see, can you see it? There's a tiny 1/4 inch, it's a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch corner crease right there. And then as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 spine ticks on this book. Okay, here once again, if this book is submitted to CCC on any given day, it can bounce between 9 and 9.2 in my opinion, because there is enough flaw here at the spine. Not much. You're talking about 6 little ticks that this book can, without that corner flaw right here, you could looking at something that even get a 9.4. So if you take into account the flaw here and this corner crease here, we're looking at something that would be in the realm of between 9 and 9.2. Okay, so far I give you 3 examples of really strong, solid 9.0 that can easily get a 9.2 on any given day at CGC. It all depends on how the 3 graders view the book and what they see and what they didn't see. Okay, next let's look at this one. Here's my undercopy of this Green Lantern book. As you can see, the corner is not sharp. Okay, I consider it very light corner wears. Same thing at the top. If you look at the top of this book, as you can see, it's slightly soft. Okay, so you have one soft corner here, one soft corner here, let's look at the spine. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're looking at, here we go again, a book that have 5 spine ticks right here. On any given day, this book can be at least a 9.2, but you're looking at 1 and 2 soft corner, and then if you look at the other corners, that one's okay, there's nothing wrong there, but this corner here, as you can see, there's a slight crease there. That's about maybe almost I say less than half an inch. Okay, but right there at the top edge of the paper. So take into account all of those little flaws up there, and then the not so razor sharp corners and the few ticks that you see here. Here we go again. We have another book that is a solid 9.0 in my opinion. If these 2 corners was razor sharp, I think this book can be a 9.2, not a problem. But I'm skipping through some other area like the back cover, but as you can see, this book back cover doesn't really have any glaring flaws. What you see here and here is just dirty, and I want to bring that to everyone's attention, because a little dirt like this is not a big deal for 9.0. 9.2 or even 9.4. Sometimes having a dirty back covers can impact the grades, but it's all relative. Okay, so some people think something like this is just too dirty. Not really. This is common. All right, let's take another example. Let's look at this Silver Age book. Let's see what we have here. Okay, as you can see, the tip not bad. See, that's the very, very light corner wears that can exist in even 9.6 books, so that's not a big deal. The edge, beautiful. Okay, there's a very light wear there. Let's see. Down here, you have very light wear on the edge here, and then as you can see, there's like a little. That corner is probably the worst corner of all the corners, but it also falls into the very light category. So you have very light wears at this edge here, a tiny nick up there, and then let's see on the spine you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you're looking at a book that has 6 nicks right here, okay, on the spine. If the rest of this book was razor sharp, 9.4 easy in my opinion. But once you take into consideration of the light wear on the bottom edge here, and then the soft corner here, you can see why I think this book is a solid 9.0. Okay, just like all or many of the previous books you see in this pile, once you go below the 9.2 grade range into the 9.0 range, you will see that a lot of the books are in a situation where they can be in multiple grade ranges, because once you start to move into the area where you no longer count every little tiny nicks, it's all depend on how the graders see things. But as you can see, this book, the back cover is gorgeous, clean, white, nothing wrong with it. And if I bring this book to the light, as you can see, beautiful. Could this book be a 9.2? Maybe, but I would feel comfortable selling this book as a 9.0 if I was selling it, but that's how it goes. Okay, let's take a look at some slabs now, because I think sometimes it's useful to take a look at book that's already graded and use that as an example. Okay, for this one here, you can see that's a soft corner. Okay, the rest of the book on this edge, not a problem. It's hard to tell what's wrong with that corner because of the way the checkered top is, but as you can see, that is one soft corner, nothing big. Let's take a look at the spine. Okay, let's look closely. There's 1, 2, 3. Let's count again. I lost count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so potentially you're looking at something that have 8 spine ticks right there. So that you can see, and if you look at it, some of the flaws are quite big. So even though there's 8, look at this big one right here. you can almost count that 3 times. So it could be up as 10 ticks if you look at the size of the ticks and compare it with the other one. So right there, if you look at the spine alone, there are enough wear on this book. Even though the rest of the book is nice, you have a soft corner there. And as you can see, the back cover of this book is beautiful. Sure, you see that? That's a soft corner. It's okay. I just want to demonstrate to you that books that have multiple soft edges or corners that fall into the category of very light wears are admissible or allowed in 9.0. Okay, so that's the first example of what a 9.0 slab can be. As you can see, it's a beautiful book that just have a little bit too many wears on the spine. Let's take a look at this one. I may have shown this slab before, but as you can see, that's a soft corner right there, and then you have spine wear right there. But the rest of the spine is pretty decent, right? Take a look at that. See right there is a 1/2 inch corner crease, as you can see right there. Okay, and then you look at the edges. It has some very light wear. Okay, as you can see, the top edge is not razor sharp, which is very common with the Silver Age Marvel book with the overhang, which is not a big deal. Okay, but that right there and this right here, maybe not quite 1/2 inch, but that's a crease there. And the rest of the book, beautiful, razor sharp. Okay, so that's a 9.0. Okay, if you look at the flaws I shown here and then these raw books, you can see why I think these are equivalent in grades. Okay, let's take a look at this book. You can see that corner. It's soft, very light wear, but if you look closer, let's see if you can see the crease. As you can see right there, that's a very light, it's not quite 1/2 inch. It's about 3/8 of an inch, but it's there, as you can see. And then if you take a look at the spine, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you have like maybe 4 spine ticks, and then you have this soft corner here, and then the corner there is not razor sharp, but that's not a big deal. What knocked this book down from a 9.2 is that corner crease right there. It's just too big. If it was a little bit smaller, I can see this book in a 9.2 slabs, but that's what it is. 9.0. It's still a beautiful book. Okay, the last example. I try to go through as many examples as possible for these grades. As I go lower in the grade scales, I will use a lot more examples just because they are just it's needed. When you talk about 9.8 and 9.6, it's easy to give you an idea of what that grade is by using just 2 or 3 examples. But once you get down to the 9.0 range, I think I need to use a lot more. Okay, so let's take a look at this book. You can see the edge. It's not perfect. It's kind of wavery, but that's basically an overhang issue. Fall into the very light wear categories. Okay, not a big deal. If the rest of this book is perfect, this book can be a 9.6 or even 9.4. But right there, okay, the wears at the corner and the light edges. So it's a very light wear. Okay, and let's see. This book have, okay, so once again you see that's a soft corner right there with a slightly corner crease, a little ding that may be about 1/8 of an inch, but the spine is pretty clean. It has 2 or 3 little spine nicks, not a big deal. Okay, but you have one soft corner there and another soft corner here, and then you can see this corner is rounded, fairly soft. And so see, you can see it more on the back cover of this book, on that soft corner. Slightly rounded on the back cover also. Okay, so as you can see, this book, you know, has basically 3 soft corners. Okay, that's what keep it from a 9.2, but it wouldn't shock me one bit if I resubmit this book and it come back a 9.2 tomorrow, you know, because like as you can see, the spine is pretty nice. You're talking about 2 or 3 very little flaws, but the 3 soft corners is what the graders may have seen enough to keep it away from a 9.2, along with, you know, the very light wear on the top edge. Okay, I hope this video helped. Sometimes it might even confuse you guys even more. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.